On the occasion of World Environment Day, India launches Nagar Van scheme to create urban forests in 200 corporation cities. Urban forests will be grown in partnership with corporates, people, local bodies and state governments. The scheme to help in creating additional carbon sink. President, Vice President and Prime Minister extend wishes to people on World Environment Day. Prime Minister Narendra Modi tweets, "We reiterate our pledge to preserve our planet's rich biodiversity, exhorts to collectively do whatever possible to ensure the flora and fauna with whom we share the earth thrive. Says, may we leave an even better planet for the coming generations." The government issues guidelines for opening up of religious places, hotels, restaurants and hospitality services and shopping malls from 8th of June. Guidelines contain preventive measures to contain the spread of COVID-19. India launches brochure outlining priorities for its campaign for elected seat on UN Security Council elections on 17 June. External Affairs Minister Dr. S. Jaishankar says India's approach will be guided by 5 S's, that is Samman, Samvad, Sahyog, Shanti and Samriddhi. Government launches My Life, My Yoga contest ahead of International Yoga Day on 21st of June. Objective of the contest to attract more and more people towards yoga. People to share their 3-minute video practicing and explaining benefits of yoga on MyGov. This year's Yoga Day celebrations to be digital without physical yoga events. Supreme Court seeks a response from the centre on a public interest litigation seeking a cap on COVID-19 treatment in private hospitals. Petition demands for fixing an upper limit for COVID-19 treatment by private hospitals. Matter to be heard after a week. Air India to start open the bookings for 75 additional flights to destinations in the United States and Canada from today. Over 107,000 Indians returned to India during Vande Bharat mission through 454 flights so far. INS Jalashwa to sail from Maldives for Tamil Nadu with stranded Indians on board. COVID-19 active cases in India stand at 110,960, while 109,461 patients cured and discharged. Global number of COVID-19 cases crossed 66 lakh with over 3.91 lakh fatalities. Hello, you're watching DD News and I'm Preeti presenting the bulletin. Our top story first. On the occasion of World Environment Day today, India launched Nagar Van scheme to create urban forests in 200 corporation cities. In a virtual celebration ceremony, Union Minister for Environment, Forest and Climate Change, Prakash Javadekar, graced the occasion as the chief guest. The Union Minister said that these forests will work as lungs of the cities and will be primarily on the forest land in the city or any other vacant land offered by urban local bodies. Now, this year's Environment Day scheme is biodiversity. Extending greetings, President Ramnath Kovind tweeted, and I quote him, "The day reminds us to appreciate interconnectedness of all the living beings. Our ancient wisdom taught us to protect biodiversity and conserve the environment. We remain committed to join hands with other nations to ensure greener planet for prosperity." Vice President Venkaiah Naidu extended his greetings. He said, and I quote him, "Let there be a new beginning on this World Environment Day. Together, we can secure the well-being of people and the planet." In a tweet, Prime Minister Modi said, and I quote him, "We reiterate our pledge to preserve our planet's rich biodiversity. Let us collectively do whatever possible to ensure the flora and fauna with whom we share the earth thrive. May we leave an even better planet for the coming generations."
On the occasion of World Environment Day, India has launched an ambitious project to create urban forest cover that will act as green lungs in 200 cities across the country. In a virtual celebration ceremony, the Union Minister for Environment, Forests and Climate Change, Prakash Javadekar, launched the Nagar Van or the Urban Forest Scheme with 200 corporations and cities across India. Speaking on the occasion, the minister urged people to actively participate in the scheme and increase the tree cover in their areas. He said there is a need to increase the forest cover in urban areas to create and enhance their lung capacities. The minister also laid emphasis on the need of biodiversity conservation and stressed upon the importance of developing urban forests in the city.
We have forest in rural areas, but not much forest in urban areas. And therefore, we have introduced the scheme of urban forest. And we have decided to launch our Nagar Van program, urban forest program, in 200 corporation cities of India. We started in Pune in 2015, and that is the model for improving the forest, urban forest in 200 cities. ये जन आंदोलन होगा और इसलिए सबको साथ आकर काम करने का मैं अपील करता हूं.
Speaking on the occasion, the Minister of State for Environment, Babul Supriyo, emphasized on tree plantation and soil moisture conservation works as a core strategy for biodiversity conservation in the country. He emphasized that everyone has to work collectively to address the problem of soil degradation and reduce water flow in the river basins.
We all grew up in our childhood getting warnings from our mothers when we did something wrong. I think the nature today, under the pandemic and whatever we are going through in the world, what we are fighting together, is a nature's call, is a planet, mother planet, letting us know that we all need to be more careful and the efforts need to be more concerted to ensure that we take care of this planet in the manner that it should be.
A brochure depicting people's participation in urban forestation was also launched on the occasion. The minister also planted a sapling to mark the occasion. The theme for the year 2020 is Celebrate Biodiversity. Biodiversity is vital for survival of all the life forms on this planet and a key to provide various ecological services. Biodiversity conservation has traditionally been considered confined to remote forest areas, but with increasing urbanization, a need has arisen to safeguard and save biodiversity in the urban areas as well. Urban forest is the best way to bridge this gap. With Bureau Inputs, Tapas Bhattacharya's report, DD News, Delhi.
And on the occasion of World Environment Day, Union Minister for Minority Affairs Mukhtar Abbas Naqvi planted saplings at his residence. He reiterated the pledge to preserve the planet's rich biodiversity and to protect the environment, planet and the people.
विश्व पर्यावरण दिवस के अवसर पर सभी लोग अपने यहाँ वृक्षारोपण भी करें और पर्यावरण के संरक्षण और पर्यावरण की सुरक्षा के लिए जो भी उपाय अपने स्तर पर लोग कर सकते हैं उन्हें करना चाहिए, क्योंकि आज जिस तरह की चुनौतियाँ पूरे विश्व के सामने हैं उन चुनौतियों को तो हम परास्त कर सकते हैं इसी पर्यावरण के संरक्षण के संकल्प के साथ.
On World Environment Day today and his birthday, Uttar Pradesh Chief Minister Yogi Adityanath planted saplings of wood apple, that is bale, and rudraksh. The Chief Minister said that we should abide by the rules of Mother Nature because there is no life without nature. He reiterated that the government has been working tirelessly for tree plantation and prioritizing Save Ganga mission. He added that this year the government targets plantation of 30 crore saplings in Uttar Pradesh. External Affairs Minister Dr. S. Jaishankar launched a brochure today outlining India's priorities for its forthcoming campaign to secure an elected seat at the UN Security Council during the elections slated for June 17th. Now, India's priorities for the forthcoming campaign based on transparency, credibility, accountability and effectiveness to secure an elected seat at the UNSC. Dr. Jaishankar emphasized India's long-standing role as a voice of moderation, an advocate of dialogue and a proponent of international law. Speaking about the brochure, he said that India advocates dialogue, consultation and fairness in addressing global issues. He also highlighted India's approach to the new orientation for a multilateral reformed system.
I'm releasing a brief document that sets out our approach to our candidature. It reflects, in Prime Minister's words, our 5S approach to the world. Samman, respect; Samvad, dialogue; Sahyog, cooperation; Shanti, peace, to create conditions for universal samriddhi, prosperity. Through this approach, we seek to move towards a new orientation for a reformed multilateral system, also known as norms.
The priorities paper sets out 5 key priorities for India. That is, new opportunities for progress, an effective response to international terrorism, reforming the multilateral system, a comprehensive approach to international peace and security, promoting technology with a human touch as a driver of solutions. The government today announced My Life, My Yoga video blog contest in the run-up to the 6th International Yoga Day on 21st of June. This year's Yoga Day will be digital and there will be no physical yoga event anywhere in the wake of COVID-19 pandemic. Dr. Rajesh Kotecha, Secretary Ayush Ministry, said that to participate in the contest, people need to share a 3-minute video of themselves practicing yoga on MyGov. They can also share the videos on Facebook, Instagram and Twitter. The video can also have people telling the benefits of yoga.
PowerPoint presentation, it focuses on the contest per se. The contest, as you are aware, as already mentioned, its name is My Life, My Yoga. This is an effort to understand the transformatory impact of yoga, which is actually very, very relevant in the COVID-19 scenario. The contest, it nudges and encourages and motivates people to explore the transformatory impact of yoga and also to express it. It is being run, as already announced by ICCR and Ministry of Ayush. We have put it in 3 categories. In fact, it is 3 into 2, male and female separate, so total of 6 categories. Youth, as is internationally done, below 18 years, 1 category of youth, then above 18 years, adults, and yoga professionals. The ministry's social media handles are the prime platform for participation. As of now, we have opened up Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter, and YouTube will be opened up shortly. We have simplified it. Anyone who is on social media can just walk into the contest.
The Supreme Court has sought a response from the centre on a public interest litigation seeking a cap on COVID-19 treatment in private hospitals. The petitioner has demanded for fixing an upper limit for COVID-19 treatment by private hospitals. The matter will be heard after a week. 2 interministerial central teams are visiting West Bengal and Odisha for the assessment of the aftermath of Super Cyclone Amphan. A 7-member team headed by Joint Secretary MHA Anuj Sharma today visited several areas in South and North 24 Parganas districts of West Bengal to assess the damage caused by Cyclone Amphan. The team arrived in Kolkata yesterday evening on a 3-day visit. The team was divided into 2 groups, while one is visiting Pathar Pratima in South 24 Parganas. The other went to Sandesh Khali in North 24 Parganas. Another central team of 5 members headed by Joint Secretary Home Shri Prakash visited Cyclone Amphan affected Bhogarai and Balyapal areas of Balasore district in Odisha today. Other members of the team are S.K. Rath for fisheries, Sobnath Abasamani from Agri, N. Sahai from Transport and Asim Mohanty from Odisha government. Soon after the cyclone, Prime Minister Narendra Modi visited both the affected states and assured full support from the centre in restoring normalcy in the 2 states. Ministry of Health and Family Welfare on Thursday issued guidelines for opening of religious places, hotels, restaurants and hospitality services and shopping malls from 8th of June. The standing operating procedure issued on preventive measures to contain spread of COVID-19. The ministry has advised persons over 65 years of age, pregnant women and children under 10 to stay at home. Now, as per the SOPs, All religious places shall ensure that entrance will have mandatory hand hygiene and thermal screening provisions, and only asymptomatic persons shall be allowed inside the premises. Any shops, stalls, cafeteria, etc. outside and within the premises shall follow social distancing norms. Large gatherings or congregation continue to remain prohibited. It also said that community kitchens should follow physical distancing norms while preparing and distributing food. Also, frequent cleaning and disinfection of the religious places must be done. Religious places in containment zones were not allowed to open and they must remain shut. Only those outside the containment zones will be allowed to open up. Now, as per the guidelines of the Ministry of Home Affairs, social distancing norms and use of masks and sanitizers will be a must in religious places beginning 8th of June, as people will be returning to the respective shrines which have been closed for over 2 months now due to the COVID-19 induced lockdown. In charges and management of the temples, mosques and gurudwaras in the city have said that preparations are underway to ensure all safety measures are in place as they throw open their doors for the devotees amid the pandemic. Sanitization at these places has begun and the authorities are gearing up for visitors after 8th of June.
मंदिर प्रशासन सरकार के द्वारा जारी जितनी भी गाइडलाइंस हैं उनका पूरी तरह से पालन करेगा। जैसे हर एंट्री पॉइंट पर सैनिटाइजिंग की व्यवस्था होगी। हमारा प्रयास यही है कि जो एंट्री पॉइंट है उस पर हम जो है सैनिटाइजिंग टनल लगा रहे हैं, ताकि जो भी मंदिर में प्रवेश करे वो सैनिटाइज होकर जाए। और भक्तों से भी ये निवेदन करेंगे कि वो जब हम दर्शन करने आएँ तो मास्क पहनकर आएँ, बड़े बुजुर्ग और बच्चों को साथ ना लाएं और मंदिर में चढ़ाने के लिए फूल और प्रसाद ना लेकर आएं, क्योंकि सरकार ने ये निर्देश किए हैं कि मंदिरों में कोई भी फूल प्रसाद नहीं चढ़ेगा। उसके बाद उचित दूरी बनाने के लिए 6 फीट की दूरी पर निशान लगाए जा रहे हैं ताकि भक्त जो है एक उचित दूरी बनाकर रखें और सुचारू रूप से जो है मंदिर में दर्शन कर सकें।
And as part of the centre's phase-wise reopening, the Ministry of Home Affairs has issued the standard operating procedure to facilitate the reopening of hotels, restaurants and other hospitality services. However, hospitality units in containment zones shall continue to remain closed. The SOP issued has also advised children below 10 years and persons above 65 years of age to stay at home. The SOP mandates the use of face covers, masks and strictly prohibits spitting. It has also advised the installation and use of Arogya Setu app. Added to this, only asymptomatic staff and guests shall be allowed in the premises, preferably separate entry and exits for guests, staff and goods and supplies shall be organized. Number of people in the elevator shall be restricted, duly maintaining social distancing norms. Effective and frequent sanitation within the premises shall be maintained with particular focus on labs, drinking and hand washing areas. As part of Unlock 1, the Union government has also allowed shopping malls to resume operations from 8th of June. After being locked for more than 2 months, shopping malls will welcome shoppers while following standard operating procedures. Entrance will have mandatory hand hygiene and thermal screening provisions. Only asymptomatic customers shall be allowed. Physical distancing of at least 6 feet to be followed as far as feasible. Adequate manpower shall be deployed by mall management for ensuring social distancing norms. Stores will restrict trials for products like makeup, shoes and perfumes. Use of trial rooms will also be restricted. Retail stores will have restricted customer entry depending upon their store size. Deep cleaning of all the washrooms shall be ensured at regular intervals. Mall air conditioning to be between a minimum of 24 degrees centigrade to 30 degrees centigrade, while humidity should be between 40 to 70%. Large congregations continue to remain prohibited. And under the third phase of Vande Bharat mission, Air India will start accepting bookings for 75 additional flights from 5 p.m. today. The third phase will start on June 9th and will last till June 30th. People willing to travel to the cities of US and Canada, including New York, Chicago, Washington, Vancouver and Toronto, can buy tickets from 5 p.m. today. The only condition is that they must qualify the rules set by the respective countries. Now, under the mission Vande Bharat, stranded Indians are being brought back, while safe return of foreigners stranded in India is being facilitated. Mission Vande Bharat, one of the biggest evacuation drives in the world, continues to bring back Indians from all across the world. Yesterday, 3,534 Indians returned from Dubai, Abu Dhabi, Doha, Kuwait, Muscat, Kiev, Mauritius, Dublin, Jeddah, Riyadh and Dammam. The total number of returnees include 45 infants. People returned to Kozhikode, Hyderabad, Kochi, Madurai, Jaipur and Delhi and Kolkata. Under the Vande Bharat mission, a flight carrying Indian nationals from Rome in Italy will leave for New Delhi. The passengers thanked the Government of India and the External Affairs Ministry for their safe return to their motherland.
In Firenze, Accademia Italiana, and the embassy has been a big help trying to get me back home. And I'd like to thank the Indian embassy for all their efforts and getting all of us together for the flight from Rome back to Delhi.
इंडिया एम्बेसी का बहुत धन्यवाद हूँ और भारत सरकार का बहुत धन्यवाद हूँ कि जिन्होंने मेरी यहाँ इंडिया जाने के लिए बहुत मदद की और मेरी टिकट का इंतजाम करवाया और मैं इनका बहुत आभारी हूँ।
एम्बेसी को बोलना चाहती हूँ कि इस कोरोना वायरस के टाइम पे इतना कुछ अनसर्टेनिटी था न्यूज़ में, मीडिया में, और जब भी हम फेसबुक पे जाते थे तो हमेशा ऐसे मौका मिलता था किसी से बात करने के लिए कि अगर कोई क्वेरी हो, अगर कोई डाउट हो कि कब नेक्स्ट फ्लाइट मिलेगा टू गो बैक टू इंडिया, तो हमेशा रिस्पांस मिलता था।
We're very thankful for the embassy, Indian embassy in Italy for taking us back to India.
Yeah, they've been very helpful. Like from the first day that we emailed them and we were contacting them, they've been very efficient in replying and helping us in every way that they can. So we are very thankful.
Yeah, the Vande Bharat mission has helped us, going back home. This was really, really tough actually. Otherwise, it would be really, really tough.
So thanks a lot.
In Maldives, passengers have reached Malé Airport for immigration and other formalities before boarding INS Jalashwa. Under the Samudra Setu mission, Indian Navy ship INS Jalashwa will sail from Maldives for Tamil Nadu with the stranded Indians on board today. The ship will bring back around 700 Indian nationals to Tuticorin. Earlier, INS Jalashwa sailed twice and INS Magar once from Malé to bring back around 1,500 people to Kochi last month. INS Jalashwa had also brought 685 people to Tuticorin last week as part of Samudra Setu program under Vande Bharat mission. Now, a look at the impact of COVID-19 in India. So far, a total of 1,09,461 patients have been cured of COVID-19, which means the recovery rate improves amongst the patients. Presently, there are 1,10,960 active cases and all are under active medical supervision. ICMR has further ramped up the testing capacity for detecting novel coronavirus in the infected persons. The number of government labs has been increased to 498 and private labs have been increased to 212. 1,39,485 samples were tested in the last 24 hours. The total number of samples tested so far is 42,42,718. In a major development, the Ministry of Home Affairs on Thursday has blacklisted over 2,500 foreign Tablighi Jamaat members. The MHA banned their entry into India for 10 years. All the Tablighi Jamaat members were accused of violating the visa rules. The Union Home Ministry has taken the action after various state governments provided details of the foreigners who were found to be illegally living in mosques and religious places across the country. The foreign Tablighi Jamaat members included those from Indonesia, Bangladesh, Malaysia, Kyrgyzstan, Kazakhstan, Myanmar, Sudan, Singapore, South Africa, Saudi Arabia, Philippines, Russia, Sri Lanka, United States, Syria, Belgium, Brazil, Australia and Afghanistan. The Jamaat members were staying in India during the nationwide lockdown. Up next, we'll take a look at the global situation of COVID-19. Now, according to the data from Johns Hopkins University, the global count of COVID-19 cases has surged past 66 lakh, while the death toll tops 3.91 lakh. US currently accounts for the highest number of infections and fatalities with 18.72 lakh confirmed cases and with more than 1 lakh deaths. Brazil comes in at the second position with over 6.14 lakh confirmed cases, followed by Russia with more than 4.4 lakh cases and the United Kingdom with 2.83 lakh cases. On fatalities, the United Kingdom continues at the second position after the US with more than 39,000 deaths, which also accounts for the highest fatalities in Europe. Other countries with over 20,000 deaths are Italy, Brazil, France, Spain and Mexico. That's it in this edition of the News Sasa. Thanks for watching. Namaskar.